Yo, yo, yo. What's up? It's your boy, brother Drew. And I'm back. I know it's been a while. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes, it is. It's been a long. Anywho, let's go. We back. It's on purpose, on purpose. I be on my purpose, on purpose, on purpose, on purpose. On purpose, on purpose. I be on my purpose, on purpose, on purpose, on purpose. On purpose, on purpose. I be on my purpose, on purpose, on purpose, on purpose. On purpose, on purpose. I be on my purpose, on purpose. I know you hear that baby in the background. That's my baby. That is my baby. She's mad because I had to send her back upstairs from being down here. Because she wasn't going to do nothing but mess with everything while I was trying to do this. You know, when you're 2 years old, you're curious. And when you're curious, you start to just mess with everything that's around. Anyway, shalom. What's up? Que pasa? All that good stuff. This is on purpose with your boy, Brother Drew. Now, I won't be before you long like your favorite preacher is. I'm just going to do something real quick. We're going to talk about this big fight that we got coming up tomorrow. That I've been waiting on for at least 5 years. And I know these brothers are gonna go crazy because yesterday at the press conference, both of the brothers had on black Air Force Ones, man. It was big black Air Force One energy going on in there. So when brothers is wearing black forces, you know they up to no good. So these brothers came in there with black Air Forces on, and I just know that mean that they about to scrap, and they about to scrap hard, and I'm here for it. You feel me? And also, they probably gonna get one of their biggest paydays ever. So that really deserves a round of applause because those two brothers, even though they're going in there to do something dangerous, they're gonna be able to take care of their families and pass down some wealth. That's real big. That's not minor. That's major right there. That's not minor. That's major right there. You hear me? So, without further ado, hold up. I'll be right back. 1 second. Okay, I'm bike. I'm bike, like Plies would say. I'm bike. So yeah, man, let's talk about this real quick, man. Let's talk about this boxing. Let's talk about this boxing. On purpose, on purpose. We talk about this boxing. This boxing. So let's talk about this, man. I'm gonna just give a few keys to victory from what I see, what I've seen from both fighters. I've been following their career for a little while now, and I'm gonna just tell you what I see. I'm gonna give you my pick. If you don't like my pick, I don't really care. It is what it is, and you can come back if my pick fails to win. You can come back and go crazy about me. I don't care. You can throw it in my face. I don't care. You know what I mean? It is what it is, man. So, uh, it's boxing, and like I said, either way it goes, I'm proud of both of the brothers. They're both about to get some enormous paydays because boxing fans definitely been waiting on this. But usually, when there's a big fight in boxing, it attracts other people who are not necessarily boxing fans, but it's such a big match that that money's gonna come in and it's gonna help these brothers out because they are at the end of the day doing something very dangerous and they should be fairly compensated for it. And with this fight being so big, I'm just hoping that they are fairly compensated and, like I said, able to pass down to their children and their children's children and their children's children, if the Lord wills. Anyway, let me get into it. I'm gonna give you three things for each fighter that's a key to the victory for them, and we're gonna see if it plays out like that tomorrow. Dang, this girl's screaming. Excuse me. I know y'all hear my baby back there crying. She's up there with her mother, so I don't know why, but she's crying. Anyway, Spence. Here's one thing that Spence cannot do. Okay, guess I had to do something about it. Anyway, y'all see her. She's pretty. Say hi. Anyway, here's what Spence cannot do. Spence likes to do this thing where he gets in his rhythm and he's walking you down and he's boxing you. He's beating you up, pow, 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 beating you up, and he starts to get greedy. And so what he'll do is he'll throw this big overhand left hand because he's southpaw. So he throws this big overhand left hand and his back leg steps all the way through. Meaning he comes through, his leg comes through, and he ends up in an orthodox position. Now, we talking about he's fighting another pound for pound fighter, man. Talk about Terrence Bud Crawford. If you do that against him and he's counterpunching sharply, it might be an early night. So he cannot do that. He can't throw that big overhand. He can't overextend on that big overhand left, or it's gonna be a bad night for him. Number two, Errol has done this his last two fights because of the car accident he had when he was tossed from Ferrari. You know, he suffered some facial injuries, and one of those facial injuries might have been that a couple of teeth were uh, taken or done or fell out or knocked out as he took a hard fall. But thank you for the grace of God that he made it through that accident. But you know, he lost some teeth, and so any one of us will be self-conscious in that way. If our mouth guard fell out during a fight, we would be looking to make sure that our teeth are actually still in there because he had to put some, you know, some different teeth in there. And so he cannot, if he gets hit and his mouthpiece falls out, he cannot look for that mouthpiece. Now, Danny Garcia, he did it against Danny Garcia, and Danny didn't fully capitalize on it because he could have, you know, took him out. But Ugas gave him a clean 1-2. Now this shows how strong Errol is because Errol, he did hit him. He stumbled into the ropes a little bit, but it didn't take him out. And those were clean punches, clean, unguarded, nonstop. Like Errol didn't get a guard up, a hand up, or nothing. They were clean shots that Ugas hit him with, and he still didn't knock him down. He just stumbled into the ropes. But it was because Ugas had hit him with an uppercut or something, and his mouth guard had fell out. And Errol was looking around for his mouth guard, and then Ugas, boom, boom, knocked him into the ropes. And so he cannot, that's number 2, is he cannot look for his mouth guard. Number 3, and this is what he always does, he keeps his, let that do this. Let that Kyle. He has to keep his volume up. He's always throwing a whole bunch of punches per round. And so he has to keep doing that. He cannot get away from that because he has to make Bud fight. He has to make Bud fight. And that's not a comfortable position, I don't think, for Bud. Is just forcing him to fight because he wants to sit back there and probably counterpunch. And if he does make Bud fight, Bud likes to get into firefights. And I don't think it would be a good idea to get into a firefight with Errol Spence because this is what Errol Spence does, right? So that's the third thing is he gotta work from behind his jab and keep that volume up, keep touching him everywhere he goes. Pause, but hit him, pick his spots and hit him where he needs to hit him at, and throw clean shots, and working from behind that jab. He works from behind his jab very well. Now usually he has the reach advantage, but today or tomorrow Bud will have the 2-inch reach advantage. But still, he still has to work from behind his jab. It doesn't matter. He still has to work from behind his jab because that's his game. He comes in with a high guard with his chin tucked, and he works from behind his jab. 1-1-2, 1-1-2 to the body, 1-1-2 up top, 1-1 body shot, hook to the body. So that's the type of work that he does, and he has to do that work. He has to be Errol. He has to be who he is, right? In order to take this home. Now Crawford has to get started early. That's the first thing. Crawford has to get started early. If he don't get started early, like he likes to wait a couple rounds. They talk about he likes to be a computer and pick up on stuff. He can't do that with Errol Spence. If you wait more than one round with Errol Spence, he's already up 3 rounds. Because of the last thing that I said about him is he puts out so much volume. If you sit there and wait him, it don't matter if he's connecting with all those punches or not. He's still hitting you, and the judges are seeing that you're inactive, and they're seeing how active he is, and they don't have no choice but to score his way. And so Bud has to get started early. If he don't get started early, before you know it, he's down 6-7 rounds, and the fight is out of reach, and he's gonna have to get a knockout, which. A lot of people are talking about this going into the knockout, but a man who was tossed from a Ferrari is kind of hard to knock out. I'm gonna just put that out there. That's probably the only time he's been unconscious. Bud has to have sharp counterpunching. I said that earlier when I was talking about Errol overextending. Bud has to be sharp with his counterpunching. He can't wait. Just like when he fought Sean Porter, he was trying to set up the same uppercut that knocked Sean Porter down with. He had been trying to set that up earlier in the fight. And it just so happened that Sean got out of control and he got a little winded. And Bud was able to land that counterpunch that he'd been looking for all night. But with Errol, he has to be sharp off the rip because Errol don't typically get tired. The dude throws punches the whole fight. If he goes 12 rounds, he's throwing punches all 12 rounds. And so when you shoot that counterpunch, you gotta be sure and it has to land. And that's what Bud has to do. He has to do. It's like no other option for him as far as that goes. And number 3, he has to cut angles. He can't back straight up because Errol gonna chase you down. He gonna walk you down. He has to cut off on angles and to throw those sharp counter punches that I was talking about. And he also he has to be slick. He can't, like I said, he can't try to walk Errol down. That's not his game. And if you do that, then you feeding right into what Errol wants. And, he's gonna beat your body he's gonna batter it to shreds. Pause. He's gonna tear you up, man. He's gonna throw 10-punch combinations, man. So Bud has to cut angles. If he don't cut angles and you try to back straight up, Errol's gonna clobber him. And that's just what it is. So with that being said, just looking at some of these pressures and stuff like that, I know that's not really something that you should look at to kind of make the fight go or determine how the fight's gonna go, excuse me. But Bud's been acting real different lately. He was on stage talking about how he's active, how he can get active with the strap. Not talking about boxing, he's talking about he can get active with the strap. Pause. With the blick. That's not Bud don't usually act like that. Bud acts tough, but he don't usually act like that. So I think that this is a high pressure moment for him because this is I think he's like 35, about to be 36. He's 39 and 0. This is walking on the cusp of the end towards retirement. So he don't want to lose that O. And so he recognizes the gravity of this situation and how big this fight really is for his career and how big it is for Errol's career. Either way it goes, though, even if Bud loses, either way it goes, the man is solidified. He's a solidified Hall of Famer. The man has done great work in that ring, and he's definitely going to be mentioned with the greats. The problem right now with boxing, man, is that people think if they owe goals, then they not great, and Floyd kind of created that thing. But some of the greats, Tommy Hearns, Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Hagler, all these dudes have losses on their record, man, and they're still great. Like Hagler is one of my favorite, man. Sweetie losses on his record, man. He's like, come on, man. You could take a L. Nobody wants to take a L, but if you do happen to have an L on your boxing record, even at the 39 straight wins, bro, like you still and 10 straight I think 10 or 11 straight knockouts, stoppages, bro. You were still great. So I don't think there's any shame in that. But like I said, he's a competitor, and so it is what it is. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you my pick. My pick for this big bout. Hold up. I'm gonna have to go with Errol Spence Jr. I gotta go with Errol, man. I got to, man. Ain't nothing against Bud. We both Midwest guys, man, but it is what it is, man. I gotta go with, and I don't want to hear all that. If you pick against me, you gotta stay on that side. Nope, I'm still a fan of Bud. I'm still a fan of Errol. I'm a fan of boxing, period. I'm a fan of combat sports, period. And I'm still gonna say Errol's gonna do this. He's gonna get undisputed, and then he's gonna vacate and go to 154. Bud, Bud is great. Errol is great, and I just really, man, it doesn't matter who wins. And as far as a fan goes, it doesn't matter who wins, except for y'all who got money on it. Then it matters because some of y'all done spent y'all rent money on this fight for betting. But we are winners, regardless. So, with that being said, just talked about boxing. Now I'm gonna jump into this topic of envy, man, because a lot of people think that, and it can be imitation is a form of flattery, but a lot of people don't think that imitation can be seen as envy as well. And so when we talk about imitation being a form of flattery, we can talk about, if you're a man and you got a son and he begins to imitate your ways, that's flattery, because he wants to be like you. If you got friends who who just really admire you, they may imitate some ways, and it's nothing evil intent behind it. But you also have people who would imitate you out of envy. And a lot of people don't even know that. They don't know that they might imitate you out of envy. So let's look up envy real quick. Envy, if you use the word envy as a noun, it means it's a feeling of discontent or resentment, longing, aroused by someone else's possessions. Now I'm gonna stop right there because automatically when you mention the words jealous, you mention words envy and all that stuff like that, people automatically think it has to do with possession. So if I told somebody that they were envious of me, they're gonna think, well, what do you mean? I got more than you. You know what I mean? But it's not about possessions. Let me show you this next word. This next word is qualities. That means somebody might have a personality that attracts people, that people begin to gravitate towards them, and that's something that you cannot buy. And so a person might be envious of that, even though they got a mansion on the hill and you got a shack on the side somewhere. But if people begin to gravitate towards you, they love your wisdom, they love how you talk, they love how you do things, and that person sees that, they may be envious of your qualities, right? Or your luck. And now if you use it as a verb, it is to desire to have a quality. There's that word again, a quality or a possession or other desirable attributes belonging to someone else. So desirable attributes, kind of like what I just said. If you are a person that that you naturally attract to you, they gravitate towards you, or they you one of those people that strangers can just comfortably come up and talk to you because they feel a presence, they feel something on you, right? And another person sees that, they begin to get envious. And the reason why we bring up that word imitation, well, before I get into that, uh, let me say this: an envious person or an envious individual cannot just want your traits like personality or charisma or riz, like the kids call it now. They call it riz, so that's short for charisma. They want your riz, as the youngins call it, but they can even wish that you didn't have it. So not only can they wish that they had those traits, but they can also wish that you don't have it. That is a low level, low vibrating person. And it is sad because we are all fearfully and wonderfully made. We all have something in us individually that we can offer into this world. And so it's sad when a person becomes envious of another person when all they have to do is find their self, right? Emotional damage. And it's dangerous because you are more than likely just being your authentic self. So you being your authentic self begins to bother somebody else when you just mind your business being who you are, and it begins to bother somebody else. That is dangerous. I don't know how many Bible believers there are out there, but the Bible says Jesus knew that he was given up to be put away to death because of envy by men who had money, by men who had things going on. But because they seen that people were flocking to the Messiah, they knew that they had to get rid of him because of envy, right? It says the more your light shines, the more the envious person will behave like it's blinding them. So the more your light shines, the more they see people gravitating towards you, the more they see people liking you, the more you're able to hang out with people and kick it with people that they wish to have that same type of bond or relationship with. uh they're going to begin to act like your light is blinding them. Meanwhile, other people are attracted to the light. You see what I'm saying? And so when we get to that point that your light is shining and it's attracting people, you got to watch out for people who are beginning to get envious. You can hear it in speech sometimes. You can see it in their actions, or you might say something around them and you can see their reaction. Body language is huge. We're gonna talk about that one day on purpose. On purpose, we're gonna talk about body language because that sometimes that's a dead giveaway, and that's why discernment is key. You always got to be looking, always got to be watching. When you if people can't celebrate you when they know that you just did something big, guess what? If it's just a dry congratulations, guess what? Or if they can't show up for you, even though you've shown up for them, guess what? Mm-hmm. I don't mean you gotta hate the person because they're envious. It just lets you know that you're really starting to see how they feel. And so when we say that, when I say imitation is not always a form of flattery, what I mean by that, so imitation is an act of imitating a person by their speech. You can imitate their speech or their mannerisms. So that goes back to me saying that you're being your authentic self, and the person is hating you for being your authentic self, but then they begin to act like you so that they can get that same uh so they can attempt to get that same effect of people gravitating towards them because they want that, right? And so uh like I said, children can do that, but people will begin to emulate you. And if you've ever heard of the sycophant, I'm sick of it because of the sycophants. Nah. But the sycophant is the one that's kissing your butt, while serving you, all with the ill intention of trying to take your place. They're trying to replace you. They're trying to learn your every way because of your position. They're trying to learn your every way so that eventually they can scoot themselves into that position. As soon as they find that crease, they're going to scoot themselves into that position. That's a sycophant. So in other words, they emulate, which they match or surpass you while behaving like you. So essentially, they're trying to do you better than you. And that's sad because they could be learning how to do them great, right? But instead, they're doing you to be better than you at being you. And it's because they want the accolades that came with being you. So it's not a form of flattery that they're imitating you. It's not a form of flattery that they're emulating you. It is a form of envy because I want that. I want those attributes and I want those mannerisms because it looks like from the outside in that those mannerisms are getting you something. They're getting you something. And envy is not something to be played with. You know, like I said, Bible believers, the Most High hates envy. He even goes to the point to where it says, "Envy not your oppressor." So he's saying people that are oppressing you don't even envy them, right? That's crazy. That means he really hates envy that so bad that even somebody's oppressing you, he says, "Do not envy them." Why? Because he knows the evil. He knows the evil in them. So if you're trying to envy a good person and you trying to do them bad, oh my goodness, the Most High is on you. I'm telling you. So, uh, I remember seeing a quote from David Goggins, and he said, and he may have gotten it from somebody else. I don't know. I just heard him say it, but he said when he was talking about haters, he said they'll see you walking on water, and they'll say it's because you can't swim. A hater will see you walking on water and they will say it's because you can't swim. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. They'll see you walking on water and they'll say it's because you can't swim. They'll see you walking on water and they will say it's because you can't swim. He said, that's what a hater will say to you. They will see you walking on water and say it's because you can't swim. But the problem is, that's a hater. When I talk about somebody envious will do this. They will see you walking on water and then they will try to walk on water. Excuse me, pardon me. They will see you walking on water and then they will turn around and try to walk on water as well. The problem with that is they don't see how you developed that power to walk on water. They just see you doing it and they see people applauding you doing it, but they didn't see what you had to go through to get that skill to walk on the water. So they just going on over there on brain buffer, empty-minded, and just trying to do what you did because they want the accolades that came with you walking on that water. Didn't know what you had to suffer through to learn how to do that. How many times you fell into the water, how many times you almost drowned until you finally got it down. And let me bring it more to something more realistic. They don't know what you had to suffer through in your 20s to get to the point to where you are in your 30s. They don't know what you had to suffer through as a novice to become a pro at what you're doing. So they see you at your pro stage and they see that people giving you props at your pro stage, but they don't know what you suffered through as a novice to become that pro. And so they just want to emulate you doing your pro stage, and they don't realize that they didn't go through what you had to go through. And so they don't have the skill to do what you did. Right? So, when people, if you are around somebody and you begin to notice that they are emulating you, you need to check. Not you don't just walk up and say, "Man, why you emulate me so much?" Or why you trying to do me better than me so much? You don't have to do that, but you just have to watch and see how much they really are doing it. And then as you do something good and you get an accolade for it, see how they react to it. Because if they were trying to emulate you out of flattery and then they seen that you got an accolade for something, they would cheer you on. But if they were imitating you out of envy and they saw that you did something good, they would give you a dry congratulations or like a not even real congratulations, or they'll say, I'm happy for you on your little something that you did, on your little award that you got, something like that, right? But if they continue to emulate you and they got an award for it, they would treat the award like it's the biggest thing on earth. You see what I'm saying? So envy is a dangerous game, man. And what I would do, I'm about to close this out. This is not a long one tonight. Because I want to watch the weigh-ins and get ready for this fight tomorrow. If I was you, what I would do, like I said, was begin to look and see how they behaving, and then get up out of there. Get up out of there. Get away from them. It don't mean that you ain't got love for them. It don't mean that y'all can't ever be cool. It just means get away from them. Because like I said, it could be dangerous, man. A lot of envy or jealousy or hating and all that stuff, they all kind of intermingle in some points. And a lot of that stuff ends up in people being hurt. And like I said, even you being your authentic self, continue to be your authentic self, your best self, can cause this person to be so envious. And the more people gravitate towards you, the more people love you, the more they get angry. They get angrier and angrier, especially if they try to emulate you or imitate you and they're doing a poor job of, because they're going to do a poor job, because only you can be you and only they can be them, right? And so if you got that sauce and they begin to see that, and they don't get the same attention, because what it boiled down to is their attention whores. If they don't get that same attention as you, when you don't even, some people don't even want attention. They just naturally kind of get it because people love them, or they gravitate towards them. And if that person who's not being their authentic self because they're trying to be you, don't get the same attention, it's going to make them angrier and angrier, and to the point to where they just don't want to see you exist anymore. So they don't want, the only way they're going to see you exist is by you being them and getting you up out of there. That's why I said you gotta move around, because the more you stay around, the more angrier they're going to get, and it'll become a sad situation. So with that being said, we're gonna close this one out. This is your boy, brother Drew, on purpose, on purpose. I love you. About to watch this thing. If y'all watch the fight tomorrow, tap back in with me. Come comment under the thing. Hit the like button, and then let me know. Talk trash to me if your person wins, and I'm gonna talk trash to you if my person wins, because that's what I do. On purpose, on purpose. Watch this. On purpose, on purpose. I be on my purpose, on purpose, on purpose, on purpose. On purpose, on purpose. I be on my purpose, on purpose, on purpose, on purpose. On purpose, on purpose. I be on my purpose, on purpose, on purpose, on purpose. On purpose, on purpose. I be on my purpose, on purpose. Hey.
Are you beta male? Beta! Beta! Beta!
Don't
beta!
act like no beta, man. Deuces.